In this presentation, I'm going to talk about designing a simulation center and some of the considerations involved in that. Again, some of you may have been through this yourself and certainly know more about it than I do. From my perspective, I've had experience of poorly designed simulation centers, and maybe you have some experience of that as well. From the literature, I mean, kind of what they're saying, this is the difficult bit. You sort of design for now, but look to the future and try and predict what you're going to need in the future, which I don't really know how you do that. But I guess, so we can say, okay, so maybe surgery is going to become more interested in simulation, so you need to design with that in mind. And I don't know, equipment's going to become more portable, so maybe you don't need all the kind of infrastructure that you needed before. I mean, it's difficult. I don't know how you predict the future, but that seems to be, when you look at this, that's kind of what they want you to try and do. This is a list of key questions from a chapter by Doyle et al. I mean, they're pretty obvious. I mean, you'd go in, I think you're in trouble if you haven't thought about this and you're designing your simulation center. So it's fairly low level. Kind of makes sense. Yes, you should be able to answer these questions in any kind of design or redesign of a center. So here they are. So for the remainder of this presentation, I borrowed very heavily from this Miller source. I looked around at a few other different sources, but I thought this one was pretty good, and it was really based on the experience of building a simulation center at the University of Minnesota, and I thought it provided some pretty good information. So this is the advice that she gave for the design team. Again, I think it makes sense. So if you don't have the expertise, get it in and get someone to advise you. And again, she talks about the prospective planning in the process and not relying just on your current needs, but trying to plan for the future about what you might need. Look at equipment design, visit other people, try and get some expertise. I added this number 5 myself because you can see most of you are probably members of the Society for Simulation Healthcare. There's so many resources on that. There's so much. You can kind of go out to the community and ask for help, and they seem to be, if you look at some of the sort of email blog chains, there's all kinds of information. It's a really good resource to use. You know, even just asking people about experience with other equipment. What's it like? Does it need maintenance? How often does it need maintenance? There's so much there that you can use. Again, you can see it's from this sort of design the program. It's looking to the future. What do you think? Don't just consider the current needs. What are the future needs of the center? Where do you think they're going? Who do you think is going to use it? What kind of equipment might you have in the future? All of this. Again, don't plan for the present. I suppose plan for the future. I guess it's like, I don't know, buying your first house. So you assume you're going to have some, and you get married, you're going to assume you're going to have some children. So you plan for the future needs of your family, not just the current needs, I guess. More around the space, and again, investing for the future. How the learners or the participants are going to move through the center. Adequate staffing, storage, clearly a big deal. Staging, where are you going to put the students? Is there a place that you can kind of stash them while you're waiting for things to move on? Yeah, and flexibility, investing in equipment that maybe you don't need immediately, but you might in the future. When I was when I visited the National Simulation Center there in Washington, you could see they were putting a big load of IT infrastructure pieces in the roof, and I was asking them, you know, is that for now? What's this for? And they say, yeah, partly for now, but also again planning for the future. While you're up there messing in the roof, if you have the funds, you know, get some other stuff done at the same time, so you have that infrastructure in place for future expansion. This is all the other considerations. So the equipment you're going to buy, what are you going to buy? What support are they going to offer you? This came from another chapter by a guy, Pozo, who was sort of an early adopter of simulation, I think in Buenos Aires, and basically had zero support. They bought all this stuff. he didn't know how to turn it on. It broke. He couldn't get anyone to come and fix it. And, you know, he was trying to work over the phone, software, the whole bit. It was like a sort of it's a very interesting chapter from a sort of lessons learned perspective. But yeah, review the support contract. Who's going to pay for the shipping of the spare parts? Is anyone going to provide training in the maintenance? How long does it take before people come and fix stuff? What do other current customers say? Updates. Are they free? Are they paying the warranty? All of this, I think, it's really worth looking into, because I think it's key. Because the stuff is going to break. You need someone to fix it, or you need to fix it where you're at. But who's going to provide the training and the parts for that? So yeah, I think all of this is really important as well. So, just saying, the design of the facility should be deliberate and precise, but within that, you need imagination and forethought, and planning for the future. And so, you know, also flow. You want to get it to utilization at a high level. You want to be able to have a good throughput of students. It has to be useful. It has to be fit for purpose, and for future purpose. And I guess that's all the things you have to try and do, which clearly planning for the future is tricky and difficult, but you know, it might save you money there in the future if you can do that, if you know what the future use is likely to be. So thank you.